So this one's in relation to a video that Kurt posted about language. It was a brilliant video. And in it, he addressed sort of, this is my interpretation of it anyways, I don't know if it's quite accurate, but he was saying that if you think of language as essentially a seed, as the seed itself, then it's always dependent on the soil or the mind, the ideas from which it comes. So the ideas are always bigger, they always are larger than the language usage itself. And so the language is just sort of riffing off those ideas. But the soil quality always matters. So in that sense, you want to use language that's natural, because it's going to provide health in the mind, in other people's minds, because you're crafting the language in such a way that it affects minds. So one idea that I've been playing with is how this relates to sort of age or development itself. When you're 4 years old, you might be using words that, 60-year-olds use, right? And this is where sort of Wittgenstein's meaning as use comes in. It matters the usage of the words. And I would also add it matters the intentions of the usage of the words. Perhaps add another layer to it, but Wittgenstein was saying that the context of the language usage sort of matters. But sort of like a 4-year-old, if they say love, they're probably going to have a different conception of love. At least their value system is going to be less whole, and probably less broad than most 60-year-olds. Not all, but most. And so the caringness that's kind of stemming out of that word usage of love is going to be vastly different for a 60-year-old and a 4-year-old. And so it's kind of interesting to think about how the seed, using Kurt's analogy again here, the seed being placed in good fertile soil, it might be in fertile soil for a 4-year-old, right? And they might be using the word love. And it's healthy at that age. The kind of way that they're expressing the language at that age is still very healthy. But it's also sort of primitive simultaneously. Just like a small shrub is, primitive in comparison to a giant oak, or a young oak, or whatever you want to say. It still hasn't fully developed. And so, similar language usage is going to also develop and grow. And that the ability to augment it, as fully grown adults can often do, and some more so than others, that capacity, that genetic modification of word usage, does come with it, I agree with Kurt, a great responsibility, because you're now inputting mind systems into people through the language usage in large measure. Be well, here comes a train, sitting beside the train tracks.